Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you so much for joining me again today for another card making video. We're going to be making this pretty card today. So a bit of ink blending on the background just to add some colour. I've got this lovely embossing folder and some lovely die cuts on there as well. Okay, so this is a phenomenal die set. This is called Flowers of Beauty, I think. Yeah. Probably should know because I use it so much really, because it's got, not only does it coordinate with a stamp set which I'm not bringing out today, but it's got all these additional elements which are really fun. So I've already done a card just using these little teeny tiny flowers, but you've also got these two in particular which are great for filling in on those backgrounds and embellishing. So I've used that again today, and I've already die cut a couple of those ready to go, so they're ready. Oops, all tangled together. Okay, so we're just going to pop out this this die here to cut out these little flowers again. Okay, really great embellishments, and it's great that it does, I think it does 8, yes, 8 all at the same time, which means it saves lots of running through the die cut machine individually, which is great. This is a great set too. Simply said, it's a mix and match sentiment set, which coordinates with some of the ephemera we've got in the annual catalogue now. So if that's the kind of thing you want to make quick and easy cards, this plus some of those ephemera packs, very easy to put together. This one used this lovely birthday wishes sentiment. I'm going to switch it out for something else today. The set I used to die cut this was this one called Nested Essentials. And they are essentials. I mean, they're a great set to have, but I'm going to switch that out and use the Spotlight on Nature dies, these lovely layered circles, so you get loads in the pack. Let's have a look. I think you get 12. This is on here. 12, yeah. And they layer together, or use them individually. So it's a lovely set to use. It does coordinate with a stamp set as well, but we're not using that today. Okay, so the colours on this are soft sea foam. Adore that colour. Something soft and subtle that you can bring in, and that's carried through with the ink with a little bit of darker ink just to sort of make that sort of gradient across. This is Pretty in Pink, new ink colour, and the colour on the flowers there, which I'll show you how to do, is Petunia Pop. Again, one of the new colours. Okay, so as those of you who watch regularly know, I'll recreate this but use different colours. Okay, so we're going to go with another subtle Lost Lagoon, pretty colour, and we're going to go with pretty Peacock. Okay, for the layering mat. We just went with black on this one. Could have used a darker green like I'm doing here, just tone it in, and then a matte on the top. So it's a much more subtle border on this one. I just wanted to give you a different look. I could use black again, but I just wanted to give you a different option. See what you think. Okay, so that's what we're doing with that. But this needs to be embossed. Okay. So just pop those to one side until we're ready to use them. So this was the folder that we used on the sample card, okay, but it actually comes as a 2-pack with this one. It's an online exclusive set, so you'll just have to pop over to the website to find those, okay, but they are a set of 2. They're designed to fit the mini cut and emboss as well, so you can use that. But of course they will fit through the big boss, and my big boss is always on my desk, so we'll be using our big boss, and I'm just trying to get that central-ish, okay, just lining up the patterns left, right, top, bottom there, just so that it looks even. That's just gone on the wonk a little bit as I've popped down the folder. So you can be as fussy as you like with this, really, to be honest. I mean, if you're not that bothered, obviously just go with it. I just like to have things nice and symmetrical, so just trying to make sure that stays put. Okay, lovely. And then, like I say, the cutting embossy is just next to me, so we're going to take away the die cuts. We don't need this platform. Okay, I can never remember if these are 3D or not. I'll soon find out because it won't go through the machine if it isn't. So we just use the cutting plates, sandwich. Yeah, it's a regular embossing folder. So if that had been a 3D embossing folder, it did feel like a thinner one. But sometimes when you haven't got two next to you to compare, it's hard to tell. It just wouldn't have gone through at all. So you would have just switched out the sandwich, and all the sandwiches are very clearly printed on the base platform that you always use. So your instructions are right there, ready for you every time. Okay, so that's that bit. Okay, and then we just need to add some ink to this. So you'll want some scrap paper to help you out with that. I don't think it's going to matter which way around I do that. Okay, so as we did with the sample card, I'm going to use the Lost Lagoon ink, which is the card base colour, and grab my blue-green brush. This is dark green brush. It's a peculiar colour, Lost Lagoon. It's like, does it fall? And Pretty Peacock actually, are they blue or are they green? And I think it kind of depends on what you're going to use them for. So I'm just taking off some of that residual ink because I don't want that colour to affect what I put on my card. And then if you load up your brush again with the new colour, see how that's come a completely different colour now. Okay, load up your brush again, and we want to go really nice and light with this. Okay, I'm coming in from this side, but obviously because it's symmetrical, it's not going to matter. So nice and light, and possibly even lighter than what I've done. Okay, but most of it's going to be covered. It's just giving you that sort of backdrop for the rest of the elements, so most of it's not going to be seen anyway. And then we're going to come in with the darker Pretty Peacock, which is much darker ink, so I'm definitely going to take off a lot of that. It looks like you're wasting a lot of ink. You aren't, honestly. It's just not, it's not a lot of ink at all. And then this bit's just going to be concentrated on this portion here. Okay, so you can go as heavy or as light as you want. I think that looks really nice actually, and it picks up the embossing texture as well, so you get the pattern coming through with that as well. Okay, so that's a little bit of ink blending on there. We're not going to do any more with that, so we can get that adhered to our panel. And this is actually going to go flat on the card, so we can get that popped on as well. And then I can show you how we did the little flowers. Just lining those up. I do find it easier on the side because you've got all three sides in your view, kind of thing. Okay, so there we go. It doesn't look like much at the moment. So now we want to die cut these flowers, but before we do, I'm going to do a little bit of something else. Okay, so I just grabbed a scrap of basic white out of my scrap bin there, and I'm going to bring in my this is the dark peach pie. Okay, and I'm actually going to mark my cardstock through these little holes, which are going to be the centre of the flowers. Okay, so I'm just marking that. I'm doing all of them. We don't need all of them, but you never know. Sometimes things turn out better. Okay, Right, okay, let's zoom you in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. So I've marked those holes, which are going to be the centres of the flowers, right? I might use the brush end actually. Okay, and then I'm just going to make those into little spots. I don't know what they are, they're about 1/4 of an inch, I guess. Doesn't really matter. The point is that this is going to colour the centres of your flowers. I don't really want it extending beyond. I just want it to sort of, I want the edge of the petals to stay white. If you don't want to do that, then obviously apply more colour. And now we're going to blend it out with the colour lifter. And I'm actually going to start from the centre and just kind of bleed that out, so you get like this sort of fuzzy edge. Okay, just going to go over that from the centre outwards, and it'll sort of feather out and give you this really sort of diffuse look. So the lighter marker will obviously go even paler, which is why I've started with the dark one, because I still want to be able to see that colour, but I just don't want it to be as intense. Okay, so it's totally optional. You could just, you know, die cut them from the coordinating cardstock or whatever, but I just wanted something a little more subtle. Okay, and then once there's a gem on the top of there, you'll just get this lovely little halo of the colour coming through. Okay, right, so we can now place the die back on there, lining up that colour. So you're not going to know whether it's smack in the middle or not, and you know what, that's fine too, because flowers are not uniform. So we're going to pop that in. I'm going to zoom you back out again because I forgot to do that last time. Okay, am I zoomed out enough? Yeah. Okay, so we'll just run that through the die cut machine. It only takes a second because it's only a thin little die, but I do put it in lengthways. Don't try and put it in sideways. It's like your car going over a speed bump. So we'll bring that over. Two of them have popped out, and we've got these little coloured centres, see? Okay, and they're going to look fabulous, I think. Okay, you can almost use that as like a little stencil. That'd be cool. Okay, so these pop out really easy, but I want to do a little bit of shaping, so I'm just going to grab the a little sponge mat. I can't find my Stampin' PS mat anywhere, but I've got something similar. This is very similar to a Stampin' PS mat. I can't find it. I don't know where it's gone. That's what happens when you tidy up. You then can't find anything. Okay, so those pop out dead easy. And then I'll use a ball tool or something, something rounded, just to press those into this foam. So Stampin' PS mat is perfect for this, and you get these lovely little dimensional flowers. Isn't that cool? Okay, so that's that. Okay, what else do we need to do? Sentiments. So here's our sentiment then, and I've realised that that's possibly too small, because I have changed my mind about what I was going to die cut this with. So I need another piece of scrap. So this is the scrap that I used for the other bits of flowers, and we're going to bring in pumpkin pie for the sentiment. So it's a little bit darker orangey colour to coordinate with the peach pie, but just wanted something to stand out for the sentiment, so I've gone with pumpkin pie. Okay, and again we're going to be using one of these beautiful Spotlight in Nature dies with that lovely sort of florally kind of edge to it. Where did that piece of got another piece. That'll do. It's just a bit big. Right, tape that up down and run that through. And we should get a nice cut on that, which we do. Let's peel that away. More use out of that, I'm sure. There'll be some little bits of paper that you need to pop out of that before you put it away. And similarly, any like residue you get on your cutting plate and these bits of card, you don't want those to stay in place for your next project, because otherwise they press into your card that you're using. Okay, so just make sure that's fully cleaned off before you use it again. There's just the odd one or two that have been stubborn and stuck in there, so just poke those out. Those paper fibres do like to gang together, okay, and like to stick. Okay, so there we go, nice and easy. And we'll need some dimensionals on the back of that. So with a circle, I like to use a triangle of dimensionals, so it's nice and supported. And now we can start putting things together. Okay, so there we go. Let's do a bit of a dry build first, just make sure everything looks the way we want it to look. And it's nice, isn't it? That orange is actually quite nice. I've been a bit daring with the colour, to be fair. I was like, ooh, I'm going to go out there and do something different. Okay, it's looking good. I like it. Right, so we will use a spot of wet glue is going to be needed for these die cuts, because they're a little bit sort of, you know, they've got a bit more detail to them, and they're going to go onto a textured surface, so we'll do that. And I'm not going to worry about any glue splodging out. That might be where we end up putting flowers or something. Okay, and then this one across the bottom. And again, it's nice when they peek out beyond these little borders that we create. Oh, whoops. Then it doesn't stick to your finger. There we go. Oh, it's too low now. There we go. But obviously within the frame of the card, so it won't go into an envelope. Okay. Pop the sentiment on next, because we don't want to place the flowers where we're going to pop our sentiment, so we'll just pop that on. And again, a spot of the multi-purpose will give you a bit of wriggle room to decide how far in or out and stuff that you want this, just to make sure that the sentiment looks straight. Okay, so that looks nice. So I've got this one hanging over this time. I opted not to do that on the other one, but I think we've got such a nice deep colour going around that, we can get away with it. I wanted to see that on the other card, which I'll just show you in close up again in a minute. And then the rule of design, it kind of says, you know, you go with some odd numbers. So we're going to do 5 flowers on here and position them sort of where they might make sense on this stem thing, but I don't think it really matters, to be honest. Okay, if you need to use tweezers, use tweezers. It gives you the opportunity to press them in as well. Okay, so you've got a few left over if you wanted to make another card with those. You might end up with a collection of them. If you're doing several in different colours, you might end up constructing something using all of those. So the positioning is slightly different to what I did before, but that's fine too. I'm not trying to replicate it exactly. And remember, these are just serving suggestions, okay? This is just me making cards and hopefully sharing some ideas that you may not or may not have thought of. Okay, so embellishment wise then, we used pearls on the other one. Should we bling this one up and do the rhinestones just for a different look again, just to sort of show you how different they can look. We'll need our pokey tool, and I think we're going to need the medium ones. The small ones might be a bit too small for the centre of that flower. Let's hope they're all behaving themselves. So that ink that we applied with the blend there is just peeking out. I was just having to think, actually, you could probably do this with the Stampin' Up marker as well, and then use an ever so slightly damp brush to kind of give you that watercolory look. The blender pens might work as well. If you didn't have blends or didn't want to use the blends, depending on what colours you've got. Ooh, it looks nice with the bling. Pop those away. She says, trying to do that very quickly because you're all watching. So we will do that in a minute when you're not watching. Okay, so there we go. Bling away. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? I've kind of intrigued myself now as to whether you can do that with that oops, piece of cardstock in the way there. What have I got in a Stampin' Up marker that will show up? Well, let's use pumpkin pie. Let's see, shall we? That might be a bit small. Oh, there we go. So this is a Stampin' Up marker, which is a water-based ink rather than a you know, alcohol-based marker. Yeah, it won't work. You're not going to get the effect with the thingy. Now I need water. And this is just going to be an ever so slightly damp brush. Yeah, you're not going to get that. Watercolour pencil. This happens to be real red, if you're wondering. So the water, you probably want a lighter hand. That's what you want. A little dot and a lighter hand. Yeah. So watercolour pencils would give you a nice sort of softer effect, but the Stampin' Up marker doesn't diffuse enough. I was too heavy with that one, but a light amount of watercolour pencil blended out either with the blender pens or a splash of water. And I mean a splash because this is not watercolour card, so you don't want to be using loads of water. Would probably give you the same effect. Okay, so that's another option if you were thinking about how I could do that, how you could do that yourself with the stuff that you've got. Okay, we'll tidy that up in a minute. So here we go. It's our finished cards for today. So I think they look very nice individually. This one I feel has a bit more impact because I think we've got the nice contrast on that border layer. But if you're looking for something a bit more subtle, I think that looks lovely. Really, really lovely. Okay, so you've got real options to play with here. the bold versus the subtle, options for die cutting, those sentiments, and positioning those flowers onto the background there, on that textured background as well. Okay, so I hope that's given you some ideas to leap off and create your own version of these. It's really nice to see I've inspired people and they've made things based on what they've seen, so it's really cool that you find these useful. Thanks so much for joining me today. Hope you're staying safe, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.